Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be doing a product review slash a recipe for you guys. Now, in today's video, I have a new item to go ahead and share with you guys. A lot of you guys always ask me where you can find a tawa to go ahead and make rotis and any other types of flatbreads. And usually the only answer that I can give you guys is to look at your local West Indian or Indian store. And a lot of you guys don't have any of those places around you depending on where you live. So I recently found this company on Amazon. It's Victoria Cast Iron Products, and I reached out to them and they contacted me back and they sent me one of these tawas to go ahead and show you guys. Now this tawa is very heavy, almost like those old-time cast iron tawas, and it just feels like it's really good quality and I cannot wait to use it. Now if you want to purchase one of these tawas, go ahead and follow the links that I provide down below. You could buy it directly from their website or you can buy it from the Amazon link. If you buy it from Amazon, it's very quick, shipping is fast, and it'll come right to your door. So I hope you guys go ahead and buy one of these, give them a try, you will not be disappointed. Just feeling how heavy it is, I know it's going to be a good quality tawa. So what I'm going to do first before I start to cook on it is I'm going to go ahead and wash it under some warm water with non-abrasive soap, and I'm just going to scrub it down just a little bit before I cook on it, just to get any impurities or anything off of it that might have been in the packaging. So before I start making the actual roti and I get into the whole process, I just wanted to give you guys some tips on how to care for cast iron products when you buy them. Now cast iron, it can be a little bit of a temperamental thing if you do not work with it properly. So some quick steps that you want to follow is once you're done cooking whatever you're cooking, you do not want to wash it right away, because if the pan or the pot or the tawa in this case is still hot, and you run it under warm or even cold water, what's going to happen is that coating on the outside will actually start to peel off, and then everything that you cook in the cast iron cookware will end up sticking into it, and you really don't want that. Another step is to go ahead and scrub it with some coarse salt, or you could scrub it with like a Brillo pad or something of that sort if things get stuck onto it. Now whenever you're making oil roti on your tawa, you're going to notice that after a while the oil starts to get stuck on the edges. So what helps is after you're done cooking the roti and once your pan cools off just until it's warm, you go ahead and you rinse it under some warm water, maybe scrub it with a little bit of salt or some soap and a good sponge or a brush. So if you follow those steps, it will be totally fine. After you're done cooking on your tawa and you're done washing it and everything like that, it's always helpful to go ahead and spread a little bit of oil. Usually some vegetable oil or any type of oil really will work. You just spread a little bit on, just a very thin layer, so this way it can keep seasoning your cast iron cookware. One, that does add flavor if you're using like a cast iron pot of some sort, but it also helps to preserve the cast iron, so this way it can last for as long as possible, because cast iron's cookware, it really doesn't go bad unless you use it in the wrong way. So I just wanted to let you guys know that whenever you're using any type of cast iron product, once you're done washing it, you want to make sure and dry it off completely. I even recommend after you're done using it and you finish drying it, you put it on medium heat, so this way any of that excess moisture or water can burn off. So I'm just wiping this off. You want to use a lint-free towel of some sort so nothing gets stuck onto it, or you can use a paper towel. So once you've gone ahead and washed your towel with a little bit of warm water, you're going to go ahead and season it before you start to cook on it. So I'm going to add on a few little drops of oil, and then you're just going to brush the oil all over to get all of the sides coated, and you only want a very thin layer of oil. And the reason why you season it before you start to cook on it is because if you were to start to cook on it right away, all of the food would actually stick onto it, and that's not what you want. So you just want to get all of the edges coated, and this goes for the same for any other cast iron product that you get. You want to go ahead and coat it with a little bit of oil just so that nothing sticks. So as you guys already know, my roti recipe is very simple. It's just a few simple ingredients that you should have throughout your house already. So what I have here in my bowl is some all-purpose flour, I'm gonna go in with some baking powder now. And if you guys want the full measurements, you can go ahead and look at the description box down below, and I'll have that down there for you guys. And if you guys also want a more step-by-step and more detailed tutorial on how to make the roti, I have about a 20-minute video on my channel already. I'll have it linked right up here in the right-hand corner, so you could watch that. This is more just an overview of the roti. I might give a few tips here and there, but that's about it. And another tip that I learned from one of my aunts is to go ahead and add in just a little pinch of salt to the roti dough. That also makes the roti much softer. If you guys saw in my previous videos, I did add in a bit of sugar into my roti before too. So you could use some salt or some sugar and it'll make it a little softer as well. So once you've gone ahead and added in your salt as well as your baking powder, you're gonna go in with a little bit of oil. So a lot of people do not add any oil or any type of fat into their roti dough, but I always like to add just a little bit, so this way it makes the roti dough a little bit softer. So you just wanna mix that in a bit. And of course you want to go in with some clean hands. And once you mix in the oil, the baking powder, and that salt, you're going to start streaming in some warm water. Now I like to use lukewarm water to very, very warm water. I find that that makes the softest roti. If you use cold water, it tends to make the roti very stiff and hard. So I'm going to continue mixing that in until I get a nice soft dough. And then I'm going to show you guys how to go ahead and knead it. So I've gone ahead and I've added in my water, and what I have here is a pretty soft and a sticky dough. And a lot of you guys always ask me how much water should I add in? And the answer to that is like, there's no definitive answer. You have to just keep adding in water and feel it for yourself. Just because different types or brands of flour and differing humidities allow the flour to absorb different amounts of water. So once you get that mixed in, we're gonna go ahead and take just a little bit of dried flour, and we're gonna use that to clean off our hands. So once you clean it off for the most part, you're gonna go ahead and start kneading. So the way that I like to knead my roti is to go ahead and punch it down, gather up the sides, and then flip it over. And you keep on doing that motion until your dough is for the most part smooth. It's not like bread, so you don't have to knead it for over like 2 minutes. It's very simple just to get it into a nice uniform ball, and so that it's not super sticky on the outside. If you wanted to, you can go ahead and drizzle on just a little bit of oil just to help you smoothen it out too. So I'll keep on doing this punching motion and keep gathering the edges and flipping it over, and then continuing to do the same until I get a nice soft texture on my dough. So I just want to show you guys what the dough looks like after I finished kneading it. I kept doing that punching motion and then flipping it over until it got nice and smooth. Now as you guys can see, when I move it around, it's not sticking to my hands as much as it was before, and that's exactly what you want. So I'm gonna allow this to rest for just about 10 minutes just so those glutens can relax a bit before we start to make them into little balls and start to oil them and cook them. So my dough's been resting for about 15 minutes at this point. All the glutens have rested. As you guys can see, it's a little softer. It's not super bouncy anymore. So what you're gonna go ahead and do is sprinkle on just a little bit of dry flour, and we're gonna start to separate them into balls, or what we would call loaves. So you're gonna go ahead and squeeze off a little portion, and you can make the roti as big or as small as you want. I make them more on the smaller side. My tawa is 12 inches. If you were buying the tawa from the Victoria company, you can get a 12-inch tawa or a 15-inch. So I opted for the 12-inch because that's the size of the burner on my stove. But by all means, if you wanted the bigger one, feel free to do so. So I'm going to continue making these into small balls and putting them to the side. And then I'll show you guys what they look like when they're ready to be rolled out and oiled in the middle. So I just wanted to show you guys, these are all of the balls of dough that I finished rolling out. So in order to roll the piece of dough out, what you're gonna do is you're gonna take one ball of the dough, you're gonna dip it into some dried flour, and then you're going to flatten it out just a little bit. And this dough is nice and soft, so you should not have a hard time rolling it out. And basically you're gonna keep on rolling it until you get it nice and thin. Now I always tell people that whenever you're making roti and you're oiling it during this stage, the thinner you roll it out now, the more layers your roti will have in the end. And I feel like when your roti has more layers, it's more airy, more flaky, and honestly, it makes for a better roti. And during this stage, you do not need to get it round at all. I don't know what it is, but usually during this stage, my roti's not round, but when I actually go to cook it, then it gets round. So once you get it rolled out just like that, you're gonna go ahead and drizzle on just a little bit of oil, probably about 2 teaspoons. And then you're gonna go ahead and add on a little bit of dried flour. And once you add on that dried flour, you're gonna go ahead and burst it through the middle just like that. You could use a knife if you wanted to. And you're gonna go ahead and fold over the edges. Now this is the way that my grandmother taught me how to do it. There's many other ways to roll it out, and if you want to see some of the other methods on how to roll it, you can go ahead and check out my longer roti video, which I'll also have in the description box down below. So once you fold it just like that, you're going to keep on rolling it around, almost like a cinnamon roll. And you don't want to pack it super tight, because if you pack it super tight, then everything's really going to start to stick together and you're not going to get all of those flaky layers. So you're going to go ahead and press it down just a little bit, and press it down very gently. And you're gonna dip the bottom in a little bit of dried flour, and you're gonna put it back down on your board and start with your next ball of dough. So I just wanted to show you guys my little setup here. I have all of my pieces of dough rolled out and oiled in the middle. So I'm gonna go ahead and cover those with a damp paper towel, just so this way they don't dry out as I'm cooking the rest of them. I have my board here with my rolling pin to roll everything out. And I have my tawa on the side there with some oil to oil the rotis as I go. Now just a little word about the tawa. As you guys can see, after I washed my tawa, I oiled it just a little bit. So this way we could start to season the tawa. So this way nothing sticks on it. And that's why it looks so glossy. So I have it heating up on a medium-low heat right now. The reason why you want to heat it up low and slow like that is because once these tawas or any type of cast iron material heats up, it heats up very fast and becomes super hot. So you do not want it to the point where it's smoking, because if it starts to smoke, then your roti will definitely burn and cook too fast, and you have the potential of drying out your roti or burning whatever you're cooking on your cast iron material. So I recommend heating it up low and slow, so this way you can have an easy time using these products. So since my tawa is hot, I'm gonna go ahead and roll out one of my rotis. So I'm just gonna dip it in a little bit of dried flour. I'm gonna spread it out a bit. And once you spread it out, you're gonna go ahead and start to roll it out. Now this is the stage where you wanna try to get it as round as you can. Of course, if it's not super round, it's totally fine. It's really all about the taste. And then every once in a while, you might want to grab a little bit more dried flour just to add on to it, so this way it does not stick. So I'm going to keep on rolling it out and get it nice and thin all around the edges. I don't like rotis that are too thick, just because I find that they're very heavy, but by all means, if you like a thick roti, that's totally fine. So at this point, I'm going to take it and I'm going to put it onto my tawa. So once you get the roti on your tawa, you're going to wait a few seconds, you're going to pull it to the side, and then you're going to flip it over. You're going to notice a few brown spots. That's exactly what you want. You're going to go ahead and you're going to oil it. You're going to oil it all around the edges. You could use a brush, you could use a piece of paper towel to do this, or the bottom of a cup even. And you're just going to flip it over one more time, oil it again, flip it over one more time, and then at this point your roti is basically done. It takes about a minute to cook, especially when you have such a hot tawa like this. Now once your roti is done cooking, you want to go ahead, get it off the heat, and you want to start clapping it right away. Now the reason why you do that is to release all of the smoke, or release all of the air from the roti, so this way you can get all of those nice flaky layers out of it. This is pretty hot, but as you guys can see, it falls apart just a little bit, and you see all of those leafy layers coming off of the roti. And that's exactly what you want. So I just finished cooking all of my rotis, and as you guys can see, my tawa is still on the stove. I went ahead and I turned the stove off, and what I want to do is wait for this tawa to be almost cool to the touch, a little warm, so this way I can go ahead and take it off of the stove. The reason being is because since it's so hot, and since I'm using my I have a glass electric stove. I don't really want to take it off now with the pot holders or else it might scratch the bottom. So I'll just wait until it cools off and then I'll move it. So here is my finished roti. I have them all plated up and it is ready to serve with any of your favorite curries or vegetarian dishes. I cannot wait to dig into this, guys. They are amazing. As you guys can see, all of those nice flaky layers came out after we clapped them. And honestly, this is just perfect. And of course, when I ate it, the flavor was a little different than when I cook it in a regular frying pan. The reason being is because the cast iron tawa actually gives it more of a smokiness and gives it a little bit of flavor. So honestly, I truly recommend this product. As you can see, I have a little bit of mess to clean up over here, but I never said that roti was not a messy process. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video today. Please go ahead and consider purchasing this tawa. You can go ahead and buy it on Amazon or directly from their site. Again, they are Victoria cast iron products. And I will go ahead and link everything in the description box down below for you guys to see. You could buy a 12-inch or a 15-inch tawa, and this is something that I just truly recommend. It's a very good quality product, and none of my rotis burned. I kept the heat regulated. And so if you guys are done watching this video, go ahead and give this video a nice big thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you're not subscribed yet. Make sure you click that bell notification icon so you can see when I post my newest videos. And of course, go ahead and leave your wonderful comments down below. While I finish snacking on this roti, just want to let you know that I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye everyone.